courageous conversations. And so a couple of the topics are going to be aligned to empowering our communities, uplifting educators, and strengthening the family dynamic.
So, Prentice, I give all of my accomplishments and my success to Prentice. This is the first place that I fell in love with learning. From having my first African American teacher to being a part of a lot of the educational programs, going to reading programs, because y'all know where they play that. You're going to get that lesson out. And so I give everything that I have to this small town.
They misconstrue discipline and consequences. Discipline doesn't necessarily mean something physical. Discipline can mean redirection. Discipline can mean, okay, let me love you this way. Let me teach you this way. And so I don't have to hit you with discipline. I can talk to you, I can teach you.
Moving back to Prentice, I was like, okay, I'm going back home. In my mind, it was like, the school's going to be the same, the teacher's going to be the same. But it's like, not only was I coming back for me, I was coming back for the teacher. Special education, you have to have a series of strengths and a series of weaknesses. And the goal of special education services is, once those kids receive those services, the gap is supposed to close. Those strengths are supposed to pull up those weaknesses, and the gap closes, and they're supposed to get out and go back to the beginning population. But you have to be an involved parent to know that you have to ask questions, research those laws, go to those schools, put pressure on them. Because at the end of the day, the only person that can advocate for your kid is you.
I have another question. So, being that family and Prentice is pretty much letting you be who you are, how did you deal with the transition of being from here, being a child, being from Prentice, to becoming an adult and coming into yourself? So, how did you deal with the transition?
Child, we still learning how to be an adult.
It's hard. You just have to realize that even though we don't always like change, nobody really likes change, but you gotta realize that sometimes change is good, because how can you really fully grow into who you say that you want to be if you're not willing to change? So you have to go through something to get somewhere, and you have to look at the positive side of what you went through and not always the negative side. So be willing to open up and change.
I started working on myself about 3 years ago. And in the midst of me working on myself, I realized I had to set boundaries with everybody, including my friends and especially with family. Like, you love your family? Yes. You respect your family? Yes. But you have to set boundaries with your family. You have to set boundaries in order for you to become the most important you. Like, I had to learn how to become me. I had to learn how to know who I am then. When you get married and have kids, you lose yourself. I lost myself. And now that I found myself, I'm enjoying it. So, again, you have to learn how to say boundaries are important. Boundaries. And it's okay to say no. And if they don't like the answer, it's okay. You move on. And that's a really good point, because we all want to make sure we're there for other people and that we support them, and this community is always so intertwined. I mean, you could always go up the street and ask someone to, if they're a teacher, to give your child that extra care, or, things that you're focusing on, and having the opportunity to say, hey, I just can't do it. It comes with practice, because sometimes you get used to saying yes. Oh, okay, it's not going to take that long. Or, but then after a while, it's like, wait a minute, I'm doing all these other different things for other people. Have I tapped in to myself?
Okay, so, of course, I have a lot of ideas, but I have it's just all over the place. But recently, I messaged you about journaling, and basically, I want the journal to be geared towards people who are single and trying to navigate adulthood and dealing with cash trauma and stuff like that. So that was one idea, and I actually got up this morning and kind of jot down some things. I still didn't get on anything, but I just
I reminded you.
it's just so people can have a journal, and some people don't know how to journal. So if they took over a page, this page or 10 things that you love about yourself. So a lot of people don't love themselves. So, you know, just things like that. And like once people get in the habit of journaling, like they will eventually keep it up and they wouldn't need like guidelines. So I guess basically what I'm trying to say is like a guideline journal, like I don't know, for like beginning journals or however you want to put it. Maybe I'm not saying it right.
No, you are. It's like kind of like your starter kit for journaling.
Yes.
You know, how you get started, what the framework looks like, you know, for yours specifically around like if you're single and if you're going through stuff. Like this is a great way for you to kind of put it on paper and maybe a year or so later, see your own growth. You have record of it.
Yes.
Yes, it is our job as educators to teach these students and do what we do as educators, because that's what we're paid to do. But education starts at home. Before they reach a school building, they should know at least 100 to 200 words from the get-go.
Been doing my ideas, just been writing everything down. I do have I am journal that I write personally. It's my personal thing, and I want to take my personal I am and put it on paper, because the person who I was before is not who I am right now. And I want these young girls to know that they're loved for anybody, that they can conquer anything in the world, that they are enough for themselves, for their families, and for anybody who told them that they are not enough. Because us black girls are put down every day and told that we are not enough.